Number 100 Life Rules that solve 90% of your problems. There is a profound truth that most people spend their entire lives never discovering. 90% of the problems you face, the struggles you endure, the pain you experience, all of it stems from violating a small set of fundamental principles. These principles are not secret. They are not hidden. They have been taught by wise people throughout history. Yet most people ignore them, and then wonder why their lives are filled with chaos, confusion, and constant crisis. What I am about to share with you are 100 rules, principles, really, that if followed consistently, will eliminate most of the problems you currently face and prevent most of the problems you would face in the future. These are not theories. These are time-tested truths that have been proven across cultures, across centuries, across countless human lives. Pay attention. What you are about to learn has the power to transform your entire existence. Hashtag Rule 1. Learn to say no. This is the first rule because it is the foundation of everything else. Your inability to say no is the source of most of your stress, most of your overwhelm, and most of your resentment. You say yes when you mean no. You agree to things you do not want to do. You accept obligations that drain you. And then you wonder why you are exhausted and unhappy. Learn to say no without guilt, without over-explanation, without apologizing. No is a complete sentence. Your time, your energy, your life, these are your most valuable resources. Protect them fiercely. Say no to anything that does not align with your values, serve your goals, or bring you genuine joy. Hashtag Rule 2. Take full responsibility for your life. Stop blaming. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Everything in your life right now is the result of choices you have made, actions you have taken, or decisions you have avoided. Accept this completely. It is not comfortable, but it is liberating. Because if you created your current situation, you can create a different one. Hashtag Rule 3. Do the hard thing first. Every day, you face tasks you want to avoid. Do those first. Start your day with the most difficult, most important, most uncomfortable task. Everything else will seem easy by comparison. This single habit will transform your productivity and eliminate the anxiety of procrastination. Hashtag Rule 4. Guard your mornings. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Do not check your phone. Do not dive into email. Do not let the urgent demands of others dictate your morning. Use this sacred time for your self-exercise, meditation, reading, planning. Protect this hour like your life depends on it, because it does. Hashtag Rule 5. Associate only with people who want your success. Your circle determines your future. If you are surrounded by negative, jealous, or mediocre people, you will become like them. It is not arrogance to distance yourself from those who drain you or doubt you. It is self-preservation. Find people who celebrate your wins, support your growth, and inspire you to become better. Hashtag Rule 6. Read every day. Reading is the fastest way to compress decades of experience into hours. 15 minutes of reading daily equals roughly 30 books per year. 30 books per year will make you an expert in any field within 5 years. Most of your problems have already been solved by someone who wrote about it. Read their solutions. Hashtag Rule 7. Exercise your body. Your mind lives in your body. When your body is weak, sick, or neglected, your mind suffers. You cannot think clearly, work effectively, or live fully in a body you have abandoned. Exercise is not vanity. It is maintenance of the vehicle that carries you through life. 30 minutes daily. No excuses. Hashtag Rule 8. Control your inputs. What you consume mentally shapes who you become. News, social media, toxic relationships, negative content, these are poison. Be ruthlessly selective about what you allow into your consciousness. If it does not educate, inspire, or bring genuine joy, eliminate it. Hashtag Rule 9. Create before you consume. Most people spend their entire day consuming content, entertainment, information. They are passive recipients rather than active creators. Reverse this. Create something every day before you consume anything. Write, build, design, produce. Creation is what makes you valuable. Consumption is what makes you average. Hashtag Rule 10. Live below your means. The anxiety most people feel about money comes from spending everything they earn or more. Live on 70% of your income. Save 20%. Invest 10% in yourself. This single rule eliminates financial stress and creates options that most people never have. Hashtag Rule 11. Do not complain. Complaining is an admission of powerlessness. It is saying, I am a victim of circumstances. Every moment spent complaining is a moment not spent solving the problem. Replace complaints with action. If you cannot change it, accept it. If you can change it, do so. But do not waste energy complaining. Hashtag Rule 12. Keep your promises. Every broken promise to yourself or others diminishes your integrity and your self-trust. If you say you will do something, do it. If you cannot commit, do not promise. Your word must be absolute. This is how you build unshakable character. Hashtag Rule 13. Finish what you start. Unfinished projects drain your energy and destroy your confidence. Every incomplete task is a weight you carry. Before starting something new, complete what you have already begun. Develop a reputation with yourself and others as someone who finishes. Hashtag Rule 14. Embrace discomfort. Everything worthwhile requires discomfort. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. If you always choose comfort, you guarantee stagnation. Deliberately do uncomfortable things every day. Have difficult conversations. Attempt challenging tasks. Push your limits. This is how you expand. Hashtag Rule 15. Focus on what you can control. You cannot control other people, the economy, the weather, or most external circumstances. You can control your effort, your attitude, your response, and your choices. Focus exclusively on what you can control. Everything else is wasted energy. Hashtag Rule 16. Be punctual. Being late communicates that your time is more valuable than others' time. It demonstrates disrespect and lack of discipline. Arrive early. Always. This one habit will distinguish you from the majority who cannot manage their time. Hashtag Rule 17. Listen more than you speak. Most people listen only to respond, not to understand. They wait for their turn to talk rather than actually hearing what is being said. True listening is a superpower. You learn more, you understand better, you build stronger relationships. Speak less. Listen more. Hashtag Rule 18. Ask better questions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask. Bad questions. Why does this always happen to me? Good questions. What can I learn from this? How can I use this? What opportunity does this create? Change your questions, change your life. Hashtag Rule 19. Solve problems, do not dwell on them. Problems are inevitable. But dwelling on problems makes them larger. Spend 5% of your time understanding the problem and 95% implementing solutions. Action dissolves anxiety. Movement creates momentum. Hashtag Rule 20. Invest in relationships. Your net worth is directly related to your network. But more importantly, your happiness is determined by the quality of your relationships. Invest time in the people who matter. Call your parents. Meet with friends. Build genuine connections. Success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. Hashtag Rule 21. Be decisive. Indecision is a decision, it is deciding to let circumstances choose for you. Make decisions quickly with the information you have. You can always adjust. But prolonged indecision wastes time, creates anxiety, and prevents progress. Decide and move forward. Hashtag Rule 22. Honor your word. If you commit to being somewhere, be there. If you promise to deliver something, deliver it. If you give your word, keep it. Your reputation is built on your reliability. Be someone others can count on without question. Hashtag Rule 23. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is the antidote to most negative emotions. Every morning or evening, list 3 things you are grateful for. This simple practice rewires your brain away from complaint and toward appreciation. What you focus on expands. Hashtag Rule 24. Eliminate toxic people. Some relationships are poisonous. They drain your energy, diminish your confidence, and pull you toward dysfunction. You do not owe toxic people your continued presence. Distance yourself. Protect your peace. Your mental health is more important than maintaining relationships that harm you. Hashtag Rule 25. Speak the truth. Lies require constant maintenance. The truth stands on its own. Speak honestly, even when it is uncomfortable. Not brutally. There is a difference between honesty and cruelty, but authentically. Build a life where you do not have to remember what you said because you always tell the truth. Hashtag Rule 26. Review your day before sleeping. Spend 5 minutes reviewing your day. What went well? What could improve? What will you do differently tomorrow? This practice creates continuous improvement and prevents repeating mistakes. Hashtag Rule 27. Respect other people's time. Do not be late. Do not cancel last minute. Do not waste meetings with poor preparation. Other people's time is as valuable as yours. Treat it accordingly. This is basic respect and professionalism. Hashtag Rule 28. Build multiple income streams. Relying on a single source of income is dangerous. Develop multiple streams, investments, side businesses, passive income sources. This creates security and opportunity. You cannot build wealth trading time for money alone. Hashtag Rule 29. Learn basic financial literacy. Most problems people face are financial. Yet most people never learn how money actually works. Understand compound interest. Learn about investing. Know how taxes work. Read basic financial books. This knowledge is worth more than most university degrees. Hashtag Rule 30. Maintain your equipment. Your car, your computer, your tools, your home. Maintain them regularly. Preventive maintenance is cheaper than emergency repairs. This applies to everything, including your body. Small investments in maintenance prevent large expenses in crisis. Hashtag Rule 31. Be selective with your entertainment. Most entertainment is designed to numb you, not enrich you. Be intentional. Choose quality over quantity. If something does not educate or genuinely refresh you, eliminate it. Your leisure time should restore you, not deplete you. Hashtag Rule 32. Learn to be alone. If you cannot be comfortable alone with your thoughts, you will make poor decisions to avoid that discomfort. Learn to sit in silence. Get comfortable with yourself. Solitude is where clarity emerges and character develops. Hashtag Rule 33. Document your journey. Write down your goals. Journal about your experiences. Take photos. Future you will be grateful to remember where you were and how far you have come. Documentation also clarifies thinking and reveals patterns. Hashtag Rule 34. Dress better than you feel. How you present yourself affects how others treat you and how you feel about yourself. Even when you do not feel confident, dress confidently. Even when you do not feel professional, look professional. External changes create internal shifts. Hashtag Rule 35. Develop a skill others value. Your income is determined by how much value you provide and how difficult you are to replace. Develop rare, valuable skills. Become excellent at something people need. This is your economic security. Hashtag Rule 36. Question your assumptions. Most of what you believe is inherited from others. Question everything. Why do you believe what you believe? Is it actually true? Are there better ways? Unexamined assumptions limit your possibilities. Hashtag Rule 37. Protect your sleep. Sleep is not optional. It is when your body repairs, your mind consolidates learning, and your emotions regulate. 7 to 8 hours. Non-negotiable. Everything else in your life improves when you sleep well. Hashtag Rule 38. Be generous. Give your time, knowledge, money, and energy freely to those who need it. Not to the point of self-destruction, but generously. What you give returns to you multiplied. Stinginess creates scarcity. Generosity creates abundance. Hashtag Rule 39. Face your fears. What you avoid controls you. The conversation you are avoiding, the risk you will not take, the truth you will not face, these limit your life. Do the thing you fear. Not recklessly, but deliberately. On the other side of fear is freedom. Hashtag Rule 40. Admit when you are wrong. Defending a mistake damages your credibility far more than admitting it. When you are wrong, say so quickly and completely. This is strength, not weakness. It builds trust and demonstrates maturity. Hashtag Rule 41. Negotiate everything. Most prices, terms, and conditions are negotiable. Most people never ask and therefore never receive. Develop basic negotiation skills. Ask for what you want. The worst they can say is no, leaving you where you already are. Hashtag Rule 42. Invest in quality. Cheap products cost more in the long run through replacement and frustration. Buy quality items that last. This applies to tools, clothes, furniture, and relationships. Quality over quantity, always. Hashtag Rule 43. Learn from everyone. Every person you meet knows something you do not. The janitor, the CEO, the child, everyone has something to teach if you are humble enough to learn. Approach every interaction as an opportunity for growth. Hashtag Rule 44. Control your emotions. Feel your emotions. Do not suppress them. But do not let them control your actions. There is a space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your power. Develop the discipline to choose your response rather than react automatically. Hashtag Rule 45. Stay curious. The moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing. Maintain childlike curiosity. Ask questions. Explore new subjects. Challenge your understanding. Curiosity keeps you young and adaptable. Hashtag Rule 46. Respect your elders. People who have lived longer have learned lessons you have not yet faced. While not all advice from elders is perfect, there is wisdom in experience. Listen respectfully. You will be old someday too. Hashtag Rule 47. Teach what you learn. The best way to master something is to teach it. Share your knowledge freely. Teaching forces you to organize your thinking and deepens your understanding. It also builds your reputation and network. Hashtag Rule 48. Set boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are requirements for relationship. They communicate what behavior you will and will not accept. People who respect your boundaries deserve your time. Those who violate them do not. Hashtag Rule 49. Embrace failure as feedback. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every failure teaches something valuable if you pay attention. The only real failure is failing to learn from failure. Attempt, fail, learn, adjust, repeat. Hashtag Rule 50. Develop morning and evening routines. Routines eliminate decision fatigue and ensure you consistently do what matters. A strong morning routine sets you up for success. A strong evening routine ensures quality rest. Design both deliberately. Hashtag Rule 51. Be patient with progress. Real change takes time. Trust the process. Keep doing the right things consistently, even when results are not immediately visible. The bamboo tree grows underground for 5 years before shooting up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Be the bamboo. Hashtag Rule 52. Apologize when you hurt someone. When you cause harm, intentionally or not, apologize sincerely. Not to make yourself feel better, but to acknowledge the impact of your actions. Real apologies have 3 parts. I am sorry. I was wrong. How can I make this right? Hashtag Rule 53. Manage your digital life. Organize your files. Clean your inbox. Unsubscribe from unnecessary emails. Delete apps that waste time. Your digital environment affects your mental state. Keep it clean, organized, and intentional. Hashtag Rule 54. Drink more water. Dehydration affects everything: energy, focus, mood, skin, digestion. Most people walk around mildly dehydrated constantly. Drink half your body weight in ounces daily. This simple habit improves virtually every aspect of health. Hashtag Rule 55. Challenge your comfort. Growth requires discomfort. Regularly do things that scare you, challenge you, or push your limits. Take cold showers. Speak publicly. Have difficult conversations. Discomfort is the price of expansion. Hashtag Rule 56. Celebrate small wins. Do not wait for major achievements to feel successful. Celebrate progress. Acknowledge improvements. Reward effort. Small celebrations create motivation and momentum for larger accomplishments. Hashtag Rule 57. Learn basic cooking. Eating out constantly drains money and harms health. Learn to prepare 10 simple, healthy meals. This saves thousands of dollars yearly and gives you control over your nutrition. Hashtag Rule 58. Track your expenses. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Know exactly where your money goes. Track every expense for at least 3 months. You will be shocked at how much you waste. Awareness creates change. Hashtag Rule 59. Be kind to service workers. How you treat people who can do nothing for you reveals your true character. Be kind to servers, cleaners, retail workers. Tip well. Say thank you. Recognize their humanity. This is basic decency. Hashtag Rule 60. Learn to manage stress. Stress is inevitable. Your response to stress is not. Develop stress management tools, breathing exercises, meditation, physical activity, creative outlets. Do not let stress accumulate until it destroys you. Hashtag Rule 61. Save for emergencies. Life will surprise you with unexpected expenses. Have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved in an emergency fund. This single buffer prevents most financial crises and eliminates massive anxiety. Hashtag Rule 62. Get regular medical checkups. Prevention is easier than treatment. Regular checkups catch problems early when they are manageable. Do not ignore your health until something breaks. Maintain your body like you maintain your car, regularly and preventively. Hashtag Rule 63, learn to say I don't know. Pretending to know things you do not know is exhausting and damages credibility. Be comfortable admitting ignorance. I do not know, but I will find out is a powerful statement. It shows humility and commitment to learning. Hashtag Rule 64, reduce sugar intake. Sugar is in everything and is destroying your health, your energy, your focus, your weight, your mood. Dramatically reduce sugar consumption. Read labels. Choose whole foods. Your body will thank you within days. Hashtag Rule 65, build your personal brand. Whether you like it or not, people have an impression of you. Be intentional about that impression. What do you want to be known for? Align your actions with that identity. Consistency over time builds reputation. Hashtag Rule 66, learn basic first aid. Emergencies happen. Know CPR. Know how to treat wounds. Know what to do in common crisis situations. This knowledge could save a life, possibly your own or someone you love. Hashtag Rule 67, limit alcohol consumption. Alcohol is normalized in most cultures, but it is literally poison. It disrupts sleep, impairs judgment, damages health, and wastes money. Drink rarely and minimally, or not at all. Your future self will thank you. Hashtag Rule 68, master the art of small talk. Connections often begin with small conversations. Learn to make people comfortable. Ask good questions. Show genuine interest. Remember names. These simple skills open doors and create opportunities. Hashtag Rule 69, learn to delegate. You cannot do everything yourself. Trying to do so guarantees mediocrity in everything. Identify what only you can do and delegate the rest. This applies at work and in life. Your time is too valuable to waste on low-value activities. Hashtag Rule 70, practice active listening. When someone speaks to you, truly listen. Do not interrupt. Do not think about your response. Do not look at your phone. Be fully present. This rare gift makes you memorable and builds deep connections. Hashtag Rule 71, develop multiple skills. Do not be one-dimensional. Be competent at many things: technical skills, people skills, creative skills, physical skills. Renaissance individuals are valuable and interesting. Specialists are replaceable. Hashtag Rule 72, question authority. Just because someone is in a position of authority does not mean they are right. Think for yourself. Challenge assumptions. Verify information. Respect expertise, but do not surrender your critical thinking. Hashtag Rule 73, maintain your car. Your vehicle is likely your second largest expense after housing. Regular maintenance prevents breakdowns and extends its life dramatically. Change oil on schedule. Rotate tires. Address small problems before they become large ones. Hashtag Rule 74, learn to compromise. Every relationship requires give and take. Being right all the time makes you insufferable. Learn when to stand firm and when to bend. Compromise is not weakness, it is maturity. Hashtag Rule 75, protect your reputation. Your reputation takes years to build and moments to destroy. Be extremely careful with your words and actions. In the age of the internet, everything is permanent. Act as if everything you do will become public, because it might. Hashtag Rule 76, learn basic self-defense. Hope you never need it, but be prepared. Know how to protect yourself physically. This creates confidence and situational awareness that prevents most confrontations from occurring. Hashtag Rule 77, back up your data. Hard drives fail. Phones are lost. Disasters happen. Back up everything important to multiple locations. The 5 minutes this takes can save you from catastrophic loss. Hashtag Rule 78. Be early to appointments. Being on time is being late. Be early. This demonstrates respect, reduces stress, and allows you to prepare. Chronic lateness is a character flaw, not a personality trait. Hashtag Rule 79. Learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are expensive teachers, but only if you learn from them. After every failure or setback, ask, what went wrong? Why did it happen? What will I do differently next time? Extract every possible lesson. Hashtag Rule 80. Develop emotional intelligence. IQ matters less than EQ, your ability to understand and manage emotions, yours and others. Learn to read people. Understand what drives behavior. Develop empathy. These skills determine success in almost every domain. Hashtag Rule 81. Clean your space regularly. External chaos creates internal chaos. A messy environment drains mental energy and productivity. Keep your space clean, organized, and intentional. This is not about perfection, it is about creating an environment that supports you. Hashtag Rule 82. Learn to rest. Rest is not laziness. Strategic rest prevents burnout and maximizes performance. Work hard, then rest completely. Do not feel guilty about rest. Elite performers understand that rest is when adaptation and growth occur. Hashtag Rule 83. Build systems, not goals. Goals are destinations. Systems are the processes that get you there. Focus on building systems, daily habits and routines that naturally produce the results you want. Systems create sustainable success. Hashtag Rule 84. Understand your personality. Take personality assessments. Understand your strengths and weaknesses. Know what energizes and drains you. This self-knowledge allows you to structure your life in alignment with who you actually are. Hashtag Rule 85. Practice minimalism. You do not need most of what you own. Possessions require maintenance, storage, and mental energy. Regularly eliminate what you do not use or love. Less stuff equals more freedom. Hashtag Rule 86. Learn practical skills. Know how to change a tire. Unclog a drain. Cook a meal. Balance a budget. These basic life skills save money and create self-sufficiency. Do not be helpless in your own life. Hashtag Rule 87. Protect your vision. Screen time damages eyes. Take breaks. Follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Get regular eye exams. You only get one pair of eyes. Hashtag Rule 88. Build community. Humans are social creatures. We need connection, belonging, and support. Invest in building community, neighborhood, church, clubs, groups. Strong communities provide resilience during difficult times. Hashtag Rule 89. Learn from books, not just experience. Experience is the best teacher, but learning from others' experience is faster and less painful. Books compress decades of experience into hours. Read biographies. Study others' mistakes and successes. Hashtag Rule 90. Practice mindfulness. Most people live entirely in their heads, ruminating about the past or worrying about the future. Practice being present. Notice what is happening right now. This reduces anxiety and increases appreciation. Hashtag Rule 91. Take calculated risks. Playing it safe guarantees mediocrity. Growth requires risk. But risk does not mean recklessness. Calculate the downside. Prepare for failure. Then take the leap. Nothing worthwhile was ever achieved by playing it safe. Hashtag Rule 92, honor your parents, they are not perfect. They made mistakes. But they gave you life and did their best with what they knew. Honor them. Care for them. Time with them is limited. Do not wait until it is too late to show appreciation. Hashtag Rule 93, learn to forgive. Holding grudges poisons only you. Forgiveness is not about the other person, it is about releasing yourself from the prison of resentment. Forgive to free yourself, not to excuse their behavior. Hashtag Rule 94, invest in experiences over things. Memories last. Objects break. Experiences shape who you become. Travel. Try new things. Create stories. When you are old, you will remember experiences, not possessions. Hashtag Rule 95, develop mental toughness. Life is hard. Pain is inevitable. Mental toughness is the ability to keep going when you want to quit. Develop this through deliberate discomfort. Do hard things regularly. This capability determines almost everything. Hashtag Rule 96, learn to laugh at yourself. Taking yourself too seriously makes you fragile and insufferable. Laugh at your mistakes. Do not defend your ego constantly. Humility and humor make you likable and resilient. Hashtag Rule 97, plan your week. Sunday evening, plan your week. What are your 3 most important goals? When will you work on them? What potential obstacles exist? 5 minutes of planning saves hours of wasted effort. Hashtag Rule 98, be someone you would want to know. If you met yourself at a party, would you want to be friends with you? Be interesting. Be kind. Be genuine. Be reliable. Become someone you would respect and enjoy. Hashtag Rule 99, leave things better than you found them. Clean up after yourself. Fix small problems. Help others. Leave every place, person, and situation better than you found it. This is how you make the world better, one small action at a time. Hashtag Rule 100, remember you will die. This is not morbid. This is liberating. Your time is finite. This knowledge should not depress you, it should energize you. Live fully. Love deeply. Work meaningfully. Do not waste your limited days on things that do not matter. These 100 rules are not meant to overwhelm you. You do not need to implement them all at once. Start with 1. Master it. Then add another. Over time, these principles compound, and you will discover that most problems simply disappear. The wisdom is simple. The execution is not easy. But nothing worthwhile ever is. Your life is the sum of your choices. Choose wisely. Act accordingly. Live intentionally. This is how you solve 90% of your problems before they even occur. This is how you build a life worth living.